Have you ever found yourself saying yes when you really wanted to say no? Welcome, and I'm so glad that you're here. Here we talk about personal development, relationships, and mental health, just to name a few. My name is Carmen, a registered counsellor who is passionate about coming alongside people. This podcast is designed to create a discussion and bring awareness around what matters most in life, and that includes you. The goal is that each episode will leave you feeling encouraged, equipped, and empowered so you can live your best life. Let's get started. Hello, how have you been? I hope you've been keeping well. I've been working away, writing new content for the podcast. And by the way, if you have any topics that you would like me to cover, please get in touch. And I will do my best to unpack them in future episodes. So, question for you. How would you change the world if you could? Where would you start? Perhaps we feel we need to have a certain status, maybe earn more money, or we postpone making a difference to the one day when, and you can fill in the blank for yourself. But what if we change the world by becoming the best version of ourselves? And that's why I said ourselves, not the person next to us. It has nothing to do with competing with others, but instead we look to others for inspiration or for guidance or for lessons. Change is hard because we need to leave the familiar to move towards what is unfamiliar, and that can be daunting. I asked a question at the beginning of the episode, and it was, have you ever found yourself saying yes when you really wanted to say no? I certainly have. I wonder if assertiveness is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. Being assertive is the ability to express your feelings honestly and to communicate the things that you need and want. It's creating and maintaining healthy boundaries in your life. It's being respectful to others during the process and saying yes and no when necessary. Along with being assertive, there are another 3 patterns which include 1. Passive, 2. Aggressive, and 3. Passive-aggressive. In a nutshell, passive can look like repressing feelings, the tendency to people please, and being unable to set boundaries. Then we have aggressive, which can look like gaining control through shame, authority, power, lashing out, both verbally or physically. The final being passive-aggressive, which can look like having a passive frontier, but below the surface can be aggressive, using indirect, hidden, and devious means to get back at another person. Which behavior pattern could you identify with? Identifying these patterns can be helpful in moving forward with the intention to empower and not to pass judgment. If you would like to develop or further develop assertiveness, there are some things that you can do today. A starting point could be to ask yourself, what is it that you actually want? So often we can go through life managing our responsibilities or having our time filled with other activities, and we don't take the time to stop and think and ask those questions and then answer them. If we don't have a goal or a vision for our lives, we can tend to drift and become unanchored. After establishing what we want, we can come up with a plan to get us there. This gives us purpose and direction. Determining what we want and where we are heading can position us to create boundaries, be open and honest about our feelings, and express how we think and feel about what matters most, ask questions, address challenges in the open, put a stop to people pleasing, and saying yes and no when necessary. We can ask ourselves, what happens if we're not assertive? So what are the pros and what are the cons? Another way to learn new behaviors is to observe others and learn from them. So you might read books, commit yourself to a growth mindset rather than striving for perfection. If you want to develop this area of your life further, you may even consider working with a registered counsellor who can come alongside you on the journey. So some things that can be done in the counselling setting is setting those goals, coming up with a plan, and also engaging in role plays. On a finishing note, take each opportunity to learn about yourself and be intentional about the things that matter most to you. It takes courage to be assertive, and being assertive takes practice. So that's it for today's episode. As always, I'm grateful for the opportunity to come alongside you. If you know someone who might benefit from hearing this episode, why not share it with them? For more content, head over to carmendebono.com.au, and I look forward to coming alongside you again next Wednesday.